Boy, if you spend a week knee-deep in floodwater and rotting drywall, there must be few things worse than a fresh downpour on the roof. After Irene soaked the east, a new storm has rivers breaking their banks, threatening more homes. Meanwhile, a few states over, folks would gladly trade the crackle of a wildfire for any amount of blessed rain. Lives and livelihoods are on the line tonight as America suffers from too much water in one part of the nation, not enough in another. And here's ABC's Lindsay Davis with the latest.
This is what you'd call adding insult to injury.
Everything is damaged here.
Flavio Restrepo already started rebuilding after close to 4 feet of water flooded this ground floor apartment during Hurricane Irene. The threat of yet another round of flooding has him wishing he'd waited.
Maybe we got to clean again next week.
And not just clean, but perhaps put in new walls again.
A new wall and maybe new frame.
Many people in Paterson, New Jersey are in the same boat. The last thing they needed here was more rain.
That water got to go somewhere, and so it could come up on us.
This is Harry Friesen's pile of destruction. He's worried now this mound of what once was could grow. The ground here is so saturated, it won't take much to trigger more flooding.
I don't need this right now. All our winter clothes and everything that we packed up to put in the basement for the winter and stuff like that is gone.
Even though Hurricane Katia is out in the Atlantic, it's what's keeping all this rain from moving out of the saturated Northeast. The Gulf Coast knows the drill all too well. Tropical Storm Lee pelted the area with heavy rains this weekend, flooding homes and streets. Boats seem to be the only way to get around in certain places. But for all the rainfall on the coast, Texas saw none of it. The cruel irony, the winds from Tropical Storm Lee only fanned the flames. 100,000 acres have gone up in smoke, and more than 1,000 homes have been destroyed.
Our house is completely gone.
Hundreds of firefighters have joined the fight from across the country. They are battling the monster blaze from the air and the ground. This has been the worst fire season in Texas history. Almost half of all the acres burned nationally have been in this one state. 3.5 million acres, roughly the size of Connecticut. So many fires, astronauts can actually see the smoke from space. But even as Lee weakened, it still remained strong enough to spawn more tornadoes, close to 40 in all. In Atlanta, a storm that uprooted trees and destroyed homes.
I was in the living room with my kids, and we started hearing the wind, and I just hugged them.
In Chattanooga, streets were flooded so badly, drivers had to be pulled from their cars. In Jackson, Mississippi, homes were flooded so severely, firefighters had to carry women and children to safety. Now on its march north, the remnants of Lee continue dropping enormous amounts of rain to areas still reeling from Irene. Louisiana had 15 inches of rain, Mississippi 13 inches. And the forecast calls for similar amounts on already saturated ground as this current system moves slowly north.
Well, given the fact that many grounds here across the Middle Atlantic and the Northeast are already saturated, and we're talking about rainfall amounts here, 4 to 8 inches in some spots. A couple of areas could even see areas over 10 inches of rain. That is going to exacerbate any flooding problems here, and we could be talking about some major flooding concerns as we go ahead into Wednesday night, and also Thursday.
Back in New Jersey, Harry Friesen is ready to move on from all this rain and possibly even move.
Because we can't keep staying in this flooded place like this.
Had enough.
I got enough.
I'm Lindsay Davis for Nightline in Paterson, New Jersey.